All right, guys, welcome back to another great episode of Basscast Radio. I am your host, Brian Carter, and my co-host, as always, Hank the Bass Geek.
What's going on, brother? Hopefully, things going good in your neck of the woods.
Oh yeah, all is good. Ready to get back on the road and get the second half of the season kicked off. It's tournament time right here again this weekend. We got a big old BFL 2-day
Mm.
open event on old Bugs Island. But I saw something that you're doing coming up here really, really soon. You're anchoring. You're
Well,
talking
I am
the MC.
MCing a benefit tournament September the 11th. So it's on
Okay.
Monday. It's a celebrity pro-am. And so it's for tinnitus, which, if you guys don't know, it's a ringing in the ears. And so it's to help raise money for that. So they're going to be on Douglas Lake down in Tennessee. I think we're doing the weigh in at Dandridge in Dandridge, Tennessee, the Dandridge boat ramp. And so I'll be up there just talking smack the whole time and, introducing some of the contestants. You can go out and bid on actually what team you want to go fish with. So
Oh,
these
cool.
a pro and a celebrity are going out, so you can be the third wheel.
Boom. Hey,
And
do you know any of the pros that are going to be there? Just offhand, I didn't mean to throw you under the bus
I
there, but
just got the list of teams in today, and because I was at work, I haven't been able to
right.
actually run through things. But there are going to be several pros. I think Skylar Hamilton, I know, is going to be one of them. But there are several. He mentioned them to me when he was asking me to do this, and I just, right off the top of my head, guys, forgive me, I don't
Hey,
remember.
it's all good. Speaking of list, everyone, the 2024 Bassmaster Elite schedule dropped yesterday. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to be quite an interesting year. It's going to be a lot of, it's going to be a lot of traveling. It's going to be
It
a
is
lot of,
going to be a lot of traveling. I think it sucks. I'm just going to be straight. I'm going to be straight. Like
I
it's Texas, Alabama, Florida, New York, and they throw in one Oklahoma. I mean, it's just like
they're going to South Carolina as well, too, aren't they? I think it's one tournament to, here it is.
was it? I didn't see that one.
All right. So hopefully by now you've all went and read it and got your thoughts and opinions based on this bad boy. But yeah, it's gonna be another interesting year. They're going to Texas, like he said, Toledo Bend, going to Oklahoma, Grand Lake.
Mm-hmm.
You said to Florida. Then they're going to Florida again. And they're going to South Carolina May 9th to the 12th. That's closest they come to us on Lake
Yeah,
Murray.
yeah. Lake Murray.
Alabama, Alabama, New York, New York.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Well, Toledo being they're in.
right.
For some reason, I was associating that one with Texas.
So it's a whole lot of traveling this year. And we all saw the schedule last come out a couple of weeks ago for the Bass Pro Shops series. And that's going to be a lot of travel. They're the ones I think are going to Texas. I mean, it's like that one's going to be like
Yeah,
we need to put a map up here behind us on a Basscast and do like they did the little string deal, like where they go next, different colors of string. Like
I
they're
want
going to
them
be
to.
traveling 900 miles.
I want them to completely reverse their schedule.
That would be awesome.
I want them to fish New York and Michigan, and we're up north
I wish I could.
right after ice out, and then slowly come down the country and
That
fish
would
Florida in September.
when it's hot as hell. That would be awesome, but I don't think you can fish that time of the year up there because they got that fishing time and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
But that way, we brought that up on the Basscast Radio a while back during COVID and at the end of COVID, how they kind of stopped the year for about 2 months and then wrapped it all up at the end of the year. So they fished all the way up to like what was it, November and December?
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Yeah,
almost up to there.
yeah.
I want to see. I mean, I understand the time and I understand that, but give us something exciting besides people looking at their screen, which has been the biggest conversation for the last 2 weeks of forward facing
It has
sonar.
been. I've been involved in several of those. Now, listen. I know, and I'm just going to give you my quick opinion on this.
All right, make it quick. Just
A
kidding.
NASCAR driver drives a car.
Yes.
He's going left 90% of the time. It's not up to him to make it exciting. The anglers are doing what they're paid to do.
Yeah.
And that's fish, and fish with whatever tools they have. To me, it goes back to good old BASS and good old MLF. Not promoting, not wanting to spend the time and money, not wanting to put a good product out there, which, in my opinion, is why we don't have outside sponsors.
Mhm.
Because they do. It's the reason it split to begin with, right?
Right, right.
Bass has traditionally done a crap job at promoting the product. And MLF said, "Oh, guys, we're going to make it better," and they haven't. They've just copied.
Yes, and you bring that up too. And if you guys want to turn back, if you guys want to go to Basscast Radio and go back right when Major League Fishing started, I interviewed Mike Iaconelli, and that's all I heard. Holy crap, how big it's going to be. You're going to be able to watch it all day on YouTube, and you're going to be able to do this, and you're going to be able to do that. You're going to be able to do this, and yeah.
That's listen, if YouTubers can make it exciting with all the equipment and all the gear that they pour into it, it's inexcusable.
And half the YouTubers make it really exciting, and guess what they use?
Their phone.
iPhone. That bad boy right there is the number. I don't want to be like Gary Vaynerchuk here. This phone right here has the power to make you millions of dollars if you know how to do it.
I use an iPhone and 2 GoPros.
I did buy a vlogging camera, but I'll tell you this, a set of DJI Bluetooth microphones, because you got to have great sound. I'm sorry, I hate listening to somebody who has awful sound. And an iPhone is all you need.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Oh, I wasn't going to say anything. I was just listening.
All right. We don't do this that often, but I wanted to kind of do it tonight because it has been a while. Our sponsors, want to thank them for a great year. It's been an awesome year at the basscast.com. We've grown again. We've actually almost doubled what we did last year.
Nice.
As always, guys, Missile Baits, John Cruz, thank you to him. And he fishes the Basscast Tournament Series as well, and we'll see him this fall, hopefully. Angler's Choice, you guys looking to buy a brand new boat or a used boat, guys, they're still selling. I mean, you can't buy groceries, some people, but the boats are still going out the door, and they're not cheap. SML Tackle Shack, they got you covered on the lake. You need a brand new rod or reel, they got you taken care of. And if you have a tip broken or anything you need to have fixed, he can do that as well. And he makes his own rods, and that's probably where his real money is, because he does do some awesome rods. And we want to thank SML Tackle Shack this year. They've been giving us a prize pack for On the Bubble. So if you did not get a check at a Basscast Tournament Series event, you're one place out. He's giving away $100.
That's cool.
Did you guys he's giving away two $50 gift cards to the shop. I mean, that's 10, maybe, 5 packs of baits. But I mean, either way, I mean, hey, whether it's 4 or 5, whatever you decide to purchase, we want to thank SML Tackle Shack for being a part of that. And Lynchburg Arms and Indoor Shooting Range. Guys, guns are still flying off the shelves. I think everybody's getting ready for the revolution. I think there was an old song about that, getting ready for the revolution back in the day. Very old song.
There was.
It's a new revolution.
We would get they'd charge us for it, so I won't.
Yeah. So thank you to our sponsors. Thank you for them for being a part of the basscast.com, Basscast Radio, and everything we have here. Guys, I really want to appreciate everyone listening to the very first episode of before the first cast. It was kind of cool how that came about for me. I listened to a lot of podcasts. None of them are fishing related. Not going to lie, because you kind of get burnt out. You're doing this all the time, every day, 2, 3, 4 hours a day. And I was listening to podcasts, and it was something before the first this, and I'm like, what about a podcast? Just a 5 to 10 minute podcast, be a little tip, and we could bring someone on, and the goal is maybe to bring on a pro and give you guys a quick little 5 minute clip. That's it, 5 to 10 minutes before you hit the water for the weekend. There's something that you could do that might make your fishing a lot better that weekend, or something. Hey, I kind of forgot about that. I kind of forgot about this being in my tackle box. So I'm going to record a few episodes. I'm going to see how I do, but I really, really appreciate you guys all listening to the very first episode. We had a lot of people actually read it, and that was my first time ever doing a solo podcast, and you weren't too hard on me. I did let a couple coworkers and a gentleman that is a great friend of mine that was in the radio listen to it. So he gave me some pointers. So we're going to improve. Come on, guys. So
it's always about getting better.
You got that right. All right. So tonight, guys, we have Bassmaster Elite Angler returning to the show. He's been on the show a lot, from Hawaii, Mr. Matty Wong. We're going to wrap up the season. And you guys know he did qualify for the 2024 season, but it was nerve-wracking. I mean, you're talking about, he had to have a really, really good finish, which he ended up having a great finish, to make it. So, I mean, we're going to have we're going to have a lot more guests on, but I mean, the whole season had a lot of these ifs.
Oh, yeah.
And, Joyce Fuentes, I know I'm jacking it all up, but I mean, if the Asian gentleman, the 18, 19-year-old Asian gentleman who was like king in Asia, if he'd have won the tournament over Patrick Walters, he'd have lost the Angler of the Year. It was that freaking, Rookie of the Year is that freaking close. And Brandon Cobb, that was close.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, we're talking about this. It was an epic.
Which is hard for me when it comes to Brandon and Kyle, because I'm friends with both of them.
Yes.
So, it was a quarter. I was like, okay, whoever wins, I'll be happy for.
Guys, so it was like one of the things, like, it was almost a nail biter, really. Like, who's going to actually win this thing? I mean, it's crazy. I ain't going to say it all pretty much hung on it, but pretty much the final event pretty much outweighed everything. And then we had 4 century belts or 5 century belts in the final event.
Crazy.
And 105 pounds by Mr. Patrick Walters. And,
also a friend of the show.
Also a great friend of the show. And, I was thinking about this today on Smith Mountain Lake when we saw 25 pounds of smallmouth being weighed in on Smith Mountain Lake. And something that we thought we'd never freaking see when Jeff and Clay Ross weighed that in. All of them were smallmouth. It's probably one of the coolest days that I'd have ever seen on Smith Mountain Lake. Now everybody's got a kicker or something, and maybe 1 or 2 when they weigh in, but all 5 smallmouth weighing over 5 pounds apiece.
Wow.
So, I mean, just a great day there. So, guys, we're going to be right back with Mr. Matty Wong. All right, everyone, we are back with Bassmaster Elite. Returning guest, wide open, Mr. Matty Wong. What's up, brother? Welcome back. I hope you guys are all following him on social media, because I saw him go do a little deep sea fishing.
Yeah, that was fun. I got back home on Oahu last week, just in time for one of my best friend's weddings.
Ooh.
Which was a lot of fun. Got to dress up in a tuxedo to prove that there is a Hawaiian penguin. And then went out on Monday, and went out. And then we went 16 miles offshore to this far out land of magical fish catchery, and ended up filling up the cooler. Caught
That's awesome, dude.
Nice big ono, or wahoo, if you will, and then a bunch of mahi. So really successful day out. The girlfriend got to come out. My buddy's girlfriend got to come out. They slept like 3 different times on the boat while my buddy and I was just like,
no way.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good day. And now I'm just basically going full on into prep mode for next year, making sure, trying to tighten up sponsorships, trying to look into some new ones, and yeah, just all that kind of work just starting again. So the
I
work
took
is never ending.
That's definitely
Amen.
true.
I'll second that.
I took Danielle out a couple years ago for my birthday, and we went out where the ocean turns from green to blue,
Uh-huh.
and she did real well as the boat was going straight.
Yeah.
But when that boat started turning, and then waves
Bye-bye.
started rocking like this, like there's a
Oh, yeah.
hand. Yeah, she ended up taking a nap, but she did catch because she got a little sick. But she did catch a bunch of fish, so we had a great time. It was the first time she'd ever done it before in her whole entire life, and that's I've brought this up on the show many a time. That's how I started fishing. Is we would do charter boats, single boats, father son deep sea fishing trips, pier trips, you name it, and pond fishing, and that's how I got started. I'd never done bass fishing until I started this crazy thing here. So here we are,
Nice.
12 years later,
There we go.
and we're
Gotta
always
start
learning.
somewhere. Yeah.
All right, let's dive into this thing, man. First of all, man, congratulations on requalifying for the 2024 season. I know
Thanks.
that's a lot of pressure on you there, so congratulations on you, that. Take a look back at the 2023 season, man. Is there a moment, just to give us a little gist of a moment that, was one of them things like you'll never forget?
Oh man. It's definitely a few moments. It's funny because this is one of the reasons why I vlog everything,
Mm-hmm.
because it goes by so quickly that unless you have something recorded or documented, uh, sometimes you dream it and you feel like,
Yeah.
did that happen?
Yeah,
Or was that a dream? So yeah, looking back on it, I would say, that the magical day 2 on Sabine was pretty special. Looking back on that, being able to top 3 that event in front of that crowd down in Orange was really special. My girlfriend being there,
right.
that was definitely really cool. Um, and I think I always have fun at the classic. I mean, I wish I was able to fish it, but I have fun at the show, meeting a bunch of people, meeting
Yeah,
fans. So I always look back on those kind of meetings are really cool. Um, I mean, I wouldn't say that there's maybe, I mean, with the exception of the last 2 events, I don't think
right.
that there was one standout
Okay.
moment. Maybe I'll say the last, actually, I'll say this. On day 3, heading out on St. Lawrence River, the night before, Steve Bowman told me you have to move up 5 spaces. You have to move up 5 spots to stay on tour next year. Just get it done.
Right.
And
No pressure.
yeah, it was. I talked to Ed Lochran too, and Ed's like, "Yeah, like you can't drop any spaces. Like you're doing good, but like don't mess up." And so I'm like, "Okay, I don't know if you're trying to get in my head, but it's working."
Dang.
Yeah, and he did that like right before blast off, so that was pretty funny. But Ed's a good guy. So yeah, I don't know. It was the blast off of day 3. It was seeing everyone on the dock, on the pier, as they were sending us out, and I had a really emotional moment where it was like a similar feeling that I got during the final day on the Ouachita River,
Right.
where just full emotions through my whole body, and
Yeah.
it basically brought me to tears as Mercer was announcing me, and pulled the kill switch and then fired her back up and then got on it, and then right there I just like shook it off and just hammered down. So that was like a really monumental moment for me, just knowing that this might be my last tournament,
Mm-hmm.
my last day as an elite angler, and however it was going to shake out was going to be however it shook out, and I would be okay with the outcome. And I think that was the best thing I could have done going into a situation like that, is to be completely fine with whether it was to requalify or whether it was not.
Yeah. take the pressure off of you, be able to think more clearly, not make decisions based on, stress.
Yeah, I mean, because I think it's in that situation, a lot of people would then get too flustered, right? Of like, oh, I need to do this, I need versus like, you know what, I'm gonna fish my strengths, I'm gonna fish how I feel, I'm gonna fish the moment, and let the fish dictate my day, and not try to force anything.
Just fish free.
Yeah.
For you guys that don't know, this is Matty's second year on tour. You just wrapped up your second year, going into the third year. And, you're from Hawaii originally, but you moved to California. And then now you're here on the East Coast, and you're fishing a lot of bodies of water that you've never fished before. How are some of the ways that you were, able to, you got some good finishes. I mean, you didn't finish, we talked about that before show, the mid 80s. You know what I'm saying? You were, out of over 100 and some anglers.
Yeah.
You were pretty much midway. How are you able to,
I felt like what I learned from my first year, I was able to carry into my second year, and kind of build on that, because I was talking to Ty Al, who's an MLF pro from Arizona, and he was saying, he's like, bro, it's so funny how a lot of the stuff that we do on the West Coast just doesn't transfer.
Right.
And it's true. Even though there's clear water fisheries, but like back on the East Coast, there's just stuff that we do in the West Coast that just doesn't transfer. Yet, does your skills transfer? Yes, they transfer, but unless you learned how to make those adaptations and those adjustments, you'll just get left in the dust. So I learned a lot about the St. Lawrence. I learned a lot about how those New York fisheries kind of set up. I learned about, the TVA and Alabama, and then also about Texas. Yet I'm still scratching the surface. I do understand eons more than I did when I first came out in my first year. And so the fact that I didn't come in last place once this year was already awesome, because I bombed. Like my first year, I came in dead last on Santee Cooper.
Right.
I didn't do that great on Santee Cooper this year. I don't know what's wrong with that place. It has like my number, but I'm glad we're not going back there this year. That's for sure.
That is true.
I know like Paul Nick's probably bummed out because he loves that place, but like I am completely fine with not going back to Santee Cooper for a while.
If we look at if we look at this, just this season alone right here, I looked at the lakes, I looked at the rivers, and the rivers where you've been the strongest. What do you feel is the reason for that? And we brought up before we came on, and we had a lot of one new Asian angler, and how is he, like 19 or something like that?
Oh no. Kyoya's 27 actually.
Is he really that old?
Yeah, Kyoya's 27.
Okay. He doesn't look 27. Holy cow, he looks like he's like 18 or something.
He does. He looks. I thought he was 23, 24, but then to find out 27.
I got to meet him in Richmond, so it's pretty cool. So they just an open up here.
Doing it. He's been doing it for a while. He actually went to like a fishing college.
But you guys are sticks on the river, man. I mean, what do you think? How does that transfer more into your wheelhouse, per se? I mean,
I don't know, man. I don't think that the St. Lawrence River is anything to do with like the Sabine.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
yeah.
Two, just because it says river in the name, they're just completely two different places.
They are.
I was fishing the lake. A lot of the things, like they weren't really lined up or setting up like they would a traditional river. I would say on the Sabine, there was a couple little stretches that I fished it like a river, but then a majority of my main spot, I would kind of approach it like a slough on the Delta.
Okay.
But it's unique because then I learned how, or more so how to adapt the forward facing sonar deal to my style of fishing, which for a while I was really just kind of fighting it, as I didn't understand it. And I'm still morally confused about it. I think it's like, someone said like, oh, I used forward facing for the first time. I felt like I just slept with the hooker or something like that. You know, it's like,
Yeah. Listen, I fish Highlands reservoirs, and I
Yeah.
mean, we fish out deep. We've been fishing for suspended bass. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just what we do here. So I love it. I would just caress it and hold it like a baby.
yeah,
I mean,
you
I
know,
love it, man. It's
it's
great.
it's it's been a really cool, eye-opening experience getting to get better at that technology and actually like learn how to utilize it. So I would say with the last two events being a very strong base of that FFS,
Right.
that's something that I felt good that I was able to kind of make an adjustment and do. I know I'm great at like reading the bank, going down the stretch and beating him in the head. And so I know I wasn't good at that other stuff. So the fact that I was able to go and almost top 10 one and then top
Yeah.
10 the last one on a kind of a new-ish wave catching them. It made me feel good, and it made me feel good about my adjustments that I was able to make. So I think going forward now, I just understand how to play the game a little bit better.
Okay.
Like the elites is different than any other. It's way different from the opens. You know, guys on the opens, they kill it. I'm not taking anything away from like
Yeah.
but
Right.
there's so many skillful anglers that just don't get the opportunity that are fishing the opens that have fished the opens for years. But then there's also a lot of guys on the opens that are just straight donators too. So out of, I would say, like the field of 220, you have a good, like there's a good handful of those anglers that are elite like total elite anglers. You know, but then you have like also another chunk of that field that
Right.
are just weekend warriors that have the
Yeah.
money to do it. But when you get into the elites, the level of competition, there's also the it's not it's like the undisclosed rules of the game. You know, it's like the unspoken rule of you're gonna run into that guy again, so
Right.
don't
Yeah.
don't be that guy, or else if you are gonna be that guy, be ready for the repercussions of it, and everyone's
Yeah.
gonna talk about it.
It's kind of like in NASCAR, man. If you're willing to
Yeah.
if you're willing to throw the first punch of the first car, you better be ready to be spun out the next race, and that's how it all
Exactly.
goes, man.
So I mean, I'm not a NASCAR fan, so I
Yeah.
don't fully understand it, but I mean that's something
It's
I
just
would
left
assume
turn.
so. I mean that's the thing. You if you mess up or you do some shady stuff, like get ready to have it thrown back at you.
Yeah.
And so I think I've learned now, like one, how to keep who I am, who I am at the core, but then also not to let people walk and push that.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
so I've learned how to you know, really stand my ground in certain situations. And now I know how to actually kind of deal with certain situations that before were foreign to me. You know, being
Right.
being a club angler, or being a guy that just fishes like the ABAs or the BBTs
Yeah.
or the BFLs, or like, you know, smaller events where it's a 2-day event. You have guys that like come in, come out, will, like, you know, will drop in on you and like not say anything of it, and you won't see that guy ever again, like that kind of stuff. It's just a different way of playing the game, and now understanding how to kind of maneuver through all that stuff and navigate it. I think it's helped me a lot with that, and then also how to decipher who I can talk with, who I can't, or who I should talk with and who I can't, and
Oh,
how to
yeah.
keep those circles small.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
no, it's a lot, man. There's a lot. It's a huge learning curve. I'm excited for this year 3, because the fact that I was able to top 10 2 events last year was huge for my confidence.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I know that once, like now I've like that glass ceiling's been broke, and I know I can win one. Like I'm confident I can win one. It's just
Oh, yeah.
whether or not that tournament whether or not it's lined up for that style for me to be there. And so
that's how it all, I mean, to be honest, I don't want to stop you, but that's how it all goes. You know, people talk about when we interview Anglo of the Years and, you know, Rookie of the Years and everything like that. You know, it was the right time, the right place.
Yeah.
And it lined up for their style.
Yeah.
You know, going into the final couple events of the season, you know, I know you probably had a little uncertainty regarding whether, you know, you're going to be fishing in 2024.
Yep.
How are the emotions for you, and how are you able to kind of I don't say bottle it, but kind of get it out of your mind and be like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Was there a moment right before those tournaments? What do you feel like? Was there something, a mindset change? Did something happen the tournament before? Because it's about momentum a lot of times,
Yeah.
and you're riding a good streak of mo right now.
Yeah.
And was there something right before those tournaments started? Did you kind of sit down and just have a deep breath moment, or did you just go in and like it just came to you?
Well, I think I'm a mixture of both, right?
okay,
I think that there's as much as that momentum thing is, that I find truth in the momentum theory, but I also, speaking from experience, have watched it not work. And
it has.
Yeah.
until like you can like win one or do pretty darn good and you go into the next one and bomb. And then you're like, what happened to that momentum? I was feeling good about it,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's more so for me, I had to go through the mindset of like, okay, regardless of the outcome, I have to take away my positives. So whether I requalify, then I get one more crack on the elites. I get to show people my personality, my skill,
We've
etc.
seen
And
that.
I also get to like prove to myself that
Right.
I can also like compete against the best in the world. One, two, I don't requalify, and now I get to spend more time with my friends. I get to spend more time with my family and truly doing the things that like I really enjoy doing in my off time. So there was this piece that I had to come to um in my mentality where okay, I have to be fully okay with the outcome
hmm
because I think if I were to be so stressed out about requalifying, that it probably wouldn't have happened. I was grateful that my girlfriend came on for the last two events. She was
Hmm.
there for Champlain and St. Lawrence, and it was actually kind of nice to be able to eat dinner with her. And then after dinner, she's like, "You want to watch a show?" I don't watch TV.
Yeah.
I just don't. I'm like, I either do research or I'm editing on YouTube. And like the
Yeah, I
fact
don't
that
watch TV either.
just like chill and just unplug, have a beer, and like sit on a couch with my girlfriend and not think about the next day and what's going on. It kind of gave me this relaxation that I typically don't have when I am touring.
Right.
So I mean, she's definitely my good luck charm. So I will say that,
That's
but
awesome.
it's because she was there during the Jersey River, and so it's interesting on that forefront where I do feel like something changed where I more so came to peace with whichever the outcome was going to be, and
Yeah.
then there also remembering to have fun because in true honesty it stopped being fun
Mm.
multiple times last season,
Yeah.
Hmm.
and it got to the point where it was like okay, yeah, if I don't requalify, I'm 100% fine with that because I'm over this.
Wow.
You don't, people don't see your pre-fishing when you go and travel to the place. They don't see like that you're not sleeping in your own bed. They don't see that you
Yeah.
don't get to see your family or your
Yeah.
friends, your girlfriend. They see is like, man, you're on TV and you get to go
Yeah.
bass. And I'm like, dude, I don't care. Too much of a good thing can be a bad thing.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Penny geek,
I was
same time.
spending
Yes.
Like I was spending so much time on the water that it was getting to the point where I'm like, dude, I'm not having fun. Like I just caught a 7 pounder.
Yeah.
I didn't even really acknowledge the magnificent creature that it was where I would have like maybe 3 years ago have
Yeah.
like stopped to take a few more photos. I was like, yeah, it's a 7, dumped it back. I'm like, now I gotta go find more because I'm stressed out about trying to find more 7s.
Yeah.
It's like
Wow.
I didn't want that. Like I'm like, I don't want my fishing to turn into that. Like that's not why I fish.
Yeah.
I enjoy it because it's the art, the sport, the camaraderie, and then just being in nature. And so that
Yeah.
I had to really reel it in, and sometimes force myself in times where I'm like, this sucks, or the bite sucked, or I wasn't really getting clued in on a certain thing until maybe day two of practice or something. because like that just eats at your emotions and at your ego, especially where you go through a whole day and you catch one fish,
Right.
and like, oh, what's going on? And you call a buddy, he's like, oh, dude, I got like 18 pounds already. You're like, bro, what the heck? Like, and so it's, and then
Yeah.
it clicks, and then you find it, and then
Yeah.
it starts to roll, and then you're able to kind of put things together. And I'm grateful that I didn't really have one tournament this year where by day 3 I was like, I'm completely lost, So like that felt good for me personally, that by the end of day 3 of practice, that I was like, all right, I don't know how it's going to shake out, but this is what I'm going to do, and this is my game.
That's
So
awesome, Matty.
Yeah,
so
I call that when that's going on, when I'm stressed like that, I call that my honey bun minute. I always keep an iced honey bun with me. And I just pull out to a wide spot in the lake. I just float, free float in a nice spot that's pretty. And I just get in the passenger seat and I kick back and I slowly eat my honey bun and look around. Do that for about 10 minutes and I'm like, this is beautiful. I'm enjoying this, even though the fishing sucks and I'm stupid because I don't know how to catch them. But this honey bun's damn good and it's really pretty. And then by the time I'm done eating it, I'm ready to go again.
I like that. Man.
That's pretty freaking awesome. Both of you guys. I mean, you talk about that, and we've been trying to hit
my
on
honey bun minute. Honey bun. I am taking offers.
We've been hitting on the mental aspect of fishing here lately, and that really is good. So looking back at, if you wouldn't have qualified now for the following year, was there a plan B that Matty had come up with, or?
Yeah. So ever since I was a kid, before the dream of becoming a touring competitive bass angler, I've always wanted to have my own fishing show.
And you would be awesome.
Thank you. I enjoy entertaining, I enjoy adventure, I enjoy travel, and I enjoy creating films, and whether it's storytelling or if it's highlighting another individual, it's something I just enjoy doing. So that's something that I still am cooking. It's now placed on the back burner, but it is on a slow simmer, and I have a few different incredible individuals that are helping me kind of cultivate it and create something. Nice. And so that's what I want to do. Because if you look at, guys like Bill Dance, when was the last time Bill Dance fished a tournament?
It's been just a few years.
A couple decades.
So, I don't think he's really fished a tournament in the past like 50 years. So, and the fact that he has been able to captivate an audience, grow an enormous, impactful brand, and also be able to be a legend in the sport without having to stress himself out by being on the road 24/7. It speaks mountains, and so and it also shows me that it's possible. So that's another thing.
He had a way of teaching people that made people laugh on top of that, because you got to see all the bloopers he put on TV, and I used to watch him when I was a kid. So I mean. But I mean, he had a way of teaching people that kept it interesting, and you do as well. I mean, we're gonna go on a different little path here, but when they've went on the camera with you at some of these elite events, and just listening to you dive, like you're like teaching people during this whole daggone tournament, and they're like, I've heard Zona say, it's the Matty Wong show, it's the Matty Wong moment, you know what I'm saying? Because, you'll break it. A lot of anglers like, shh, I'm not, no. Matty's like, I'm throwing a flipping, I'm pitching, he's diving into the whole 9 yards. I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that. And I mean, it's like, I ain't gonna say nothing. I think you're probably the best teacher to ever hit the sport right now. Because, I mean, it's like, you're really in depth into it, diving into it 100%. Because, I mean, I'm sorry. Yes, the fish do hang around the same place the next day, but after a couple of days, fish move, fish bite different. One day I want a hamburger, next day I want a cheeseburger, next day after that I want a hot dog. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's the same way with bass fishing. I mean, it's too hot, I'm going to the bottom of the lake. It's I'm going to find cooler water. I mean, everything changes, and you've done a great job explaining that. When bass has given you the camera and the opportunity to spill the beans, which probably a lot of people are like,
Yeah.
why is he talking so damn much, telling
Yeah.
stuff I don't want to be told. But Matty's over there like, here we go. And I said, Danielle, he's gonna start telling it right here, boys and girls.
Yeah. Yeah, no, thank you, man. That means a lot. Because I try to, I don't want to ever be the angler that is trying to sell you something constantly. And I know a lot of my colleagues have gotten to like the repetitious monotony of being, well, you want to get the best thing, well, this is what you need to buy.
Yeah.
And versus for me, it's more valuable to be able to teach someone a skill or to show someone something that they can then apply at a later time, because that's a gift that keeps on giving, versus something in a monetary value where you can buy it and whether or not that helps you or not, you just got suckered into buying something. So I know that inherently people then look at my sponsors and the things that I like to use and the companies that I associate with and just be like, I want to support, or I want to like, oh, that's sick. He uses that, so I'm going to go and get that. So I don't even have to go out there and say like, yeah, the best drop shot rod is a Mega Bass Landsat on P5. It's like people will ask me, hey, what are you using as a drop shot rod? I'm like, oh, well, I like to use the P5, the Landsat for that, and I'll use the Addermine for this. And they'd be like, great. I didn't have to sell anyone anything. They just asked me a question.
Yeah.
Right.
They go out and purchase a $500 rod because they know that quality is there. So that's being, for me, a most important thing is to be an educator and to be
instead of a
entertaining.
salesman.
Yeah, because well, it's so difficult. It's so difficult. We're the only sport out there where you're expected to entertain while doing your sport.
Yep. Yep. You know,
I mean, like, okay, yeah. You have like NBA, you know,
yeah,
and, like,
yeah.
I've got like, you know, guys that like showboat and whatever.
Yeah.
But it's different. You're not like, you don't like LeBron's not like, okay, I'm gonna like double post on this guy and then I'm gonna like duke him this way and then like dunk it in his face. I'm as he's doing it, you know.
Yeah.
It's just okay, yeah, they're entertaining while they're doing their action or whatever, versus actually talking to a camera to be like, look, this is what's about to go down. It's not like golfers are like, yeah, I'm gonna try and like, I'm gonna slice this one because this and this, and I'm gonna use this, you know,
Yeah.
this
Go ahead with yours, Geek, because I saw
Well,
something today I talk about.
You know, we actually, what's going to be funny, Matty, is when you watch this, because we just had this conversation before. You know, we were talking about, you know, people complaining about, oh, it's boring to watch people fishing on forward-facing sonar. Well, on the northern lakes, whether they're fishing forward-facing sonar or not, they're fishing the same way. They're still looking down, whether they're just drifting. They're still drifting.
Yeah.
And so, for me, you know, it's like going back to NASCAR, circular track, you're turning left. How exciting does that sound? It's only exciting because the production company produces it in a manner that it is exciting to watch on television. A lot of stuff doesn't translate from, you know, the track to television. So you have to put together good production. And, you know, that's kind of, I go back, listen, I said it before and I'll say it again. What was the reason why Bass and MLF, what was the reason for the big split? Because Bass has not done a good job of promoting. And they can point fingers and blame it on everything else. But the truth is, we both know, as you're an elite angler, but you're also a social media guy. We both know that if we make base suck videos, ain't nobody gonna watch them. Ain't nobody gonna watch them. And you know, they've got a lot more equipment than I got. I got an iPhone and 2 GoPros, and I can tell them. I mean, give me a holler, Bass. I fix that problem for you real quick. I do. I can give you all the ideas in the world to show you how to fix that. You got cameramen, camera boats, and the same with MLF. It's not the anglers, the drivers drive, the anglers fish. That's what your job is. Yeah. It's like you said, you're not out there to entertain. You're out there to do everything you can to win that tournament. And if the ratings are taking the hit, it's not the angler's fault, in my opinion. We're blaming the wrong people.
Yeah, because there's ways. I mean, and this, I've a few people brought this up to me. They're like, well, even if they would start sharing the screen, right? Like you
Yeah,
were
it's
share,
still
like share this, it would still get boring because you're still
yes.
Oh
watching
yeah.
someone,
Yes.
you're still
Yeah.
watching someone play a video game versus you
That's
playing the
right.
video game yourself.
That's right.
I don't want to watch someone else play a video game. I want to
I
be the guy
agree.
playing it.
I
So
agree.
regardless of that, I don't think the issue is with their broadcast, like the with necessarily the forward facing sonar. I think the issue is that they're not diving more into the individual characters of the sport and making it more of a personal thing.
That's
Because
true.
if individuals don't feel any type of connection, yeah, they do it once in a while on the top 10. You know,
Yeah.
like they'll do like, oh well, so and so, like, he goes and works at the hardware store, and like, this has been his dream and everything, and you're like, okay, cool, you have that snippet, whatever. That's one person that you just did that for out of 104 guys.
Yeah.
Now, how are you going to try to be consistent with bringing people in and drawing an emotional connection between someone if there's only less than 10 features through a whole broadcast?
Right.
Yep.
And so I think there needs to be a little bit more of like, okay, yes, we want this guy to have a camera on the first day. I'm just talking about purely the first day. I want to have this guy have a camera because he's sitting in the AOY points. I want this guy to have a camera because he's from Alabama. It's like, I want them, like, they need to start making more of like a mental thought process behind, like, actually, like, think about it. Who would best be one, entertaining, and be able to actually engage in their viewership while having the camera on their day ones?
Yes, and I agree with that 110%. And I also agree with what Geek said about about the putting it together. But then like Geek was talking about the split when we started Major League Fishing and all the promises that we got, and then I mean, I understand the fish care and then weigh in and all that stuff, but it became the disconnect became, it's kind of like we all know who
It's
Kevin
just
is.
more
We
of the
all
same.
okay. So look,
They split off and just did more of the same.
right.
So,
so we all know
there was no
Kevin
real
is.
innovation.
It's all back to square one where they're doing five, and it's like, all right, guys, and then so you have guys that are going through the opens like Ish trying to like requalify because they want to get back and fish the classic. So it's like you can't, like, if you're gonna try to break away to recreate the wheel, then you have to really be trying to make it hovercraft versus
exactly.
But Major League Fishing's, I don't want to.
I'm not throwing shade at Major League.
I'm not throwing either, and I don't.
No, I'm throwing it at both of them. If Bass would have taken care of the anglers, if Bass would have taken care of the pro anglers to begin with, they wouldn't have left.
Well, I mean, there's the talk now is about forward facing and da 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 da. I don't think it should be talk about that. It's more so. It's like, look, if you're getting paid by Garmin, Lowrance, and Humminbird, why haven't the anglers seen any increase in payouts? And so I think it was like a huge thing. I think it was either Paul Mueller or David Mullins did a meme, or I forgot, like, I don't know, which it was funny though, because it was like, we want to talk about forward facing sonar. Like, what about the payouts? Because like the fact that like I'm barely, like, let's say you win one, right? Like you win one, and it's hard enough just to even top 10 in one, let alone win one. You win one, you make $100,000. You know how much that covers? Basically your season, and that's it. And that's just your expenses. Like that's your entry fees to fish, and then your Airbnb, gas, and food. Like that's how are you gonna get? How are you supposed to like really sustain any type of living doing that unless you're a marketing genius and you know how to actually create long-lasting, robust relations with giants
like Gerald Swindle.
He's figured out a way because of his mouth, and so he knows how to talk to people, or he knows how to talk to a crowd, and then be able to generate laughs and whatnot because of his personality. Now, the gift of gab isn't as easy as it comes for Swindle for most people. And it shouldn't be about who can talk the best, which unfortunately it kind of is. I have an easier time of getting sponsorships because of my background in video, video production, marketing, photography, and then also being an actor. So I understand that I have a different skill set that I'm bringing that makes me a little bit like have an edge up, if you will, on like someone else that hasn't had that experience.
Yeah.
But it should be there should be a little bit more transparency along the boards of who's getting paid what and why, and then how do those people like improve. Because I have some guys that are on the elites that were like a rookie last year. They were like, dude, I paid for most of my entry fees, or I was only able to pay for this much, or X, Y, and Z. Like, and I know a handful of guys have that similar kind of story where they're still having to go out of their own pockets to make this dream a reality.
Right.
Where if you're fishing at the highest level of a sport, I'm sorry, dude, you should be getting paid. And especially if there's huge dollars when it comes to advertising for
TV rights and product rights, all that other stuff,
all that stuff.
Yeah,
so that's
Fox,
a whole
being all over Fox and everything else.
That's a big can of worms, but you know.
All right, we don't need to dive any deeper.
Yeah.
That's
I didn't mean to open that one up.
You opened that one wide open. That's another show.
But you know, look, I'm a fan. You know, I'm a fan, and I hate I didn't get to see you at the Classic this year because I've got to get you to sign the shirt that's hanging on the wall back here. And you know, I mean, I subscribed to Matty. You know, when we first when you were on the first time, you know, I'm a big fan. And so I'm always rooting for you, but you know, I'm a fan of a lot of guys. I'm a fan of the sport, and I want to see the sport do well. I want to see the sport flourish. You know, and
I want to see it grow as well. And I think that there's a way now to outreach to the younger angler, which I think is the most important, because the demographic of the kids is what's going to have the best interest of the sport tomorrow. Because right now they're targeting the single retired man. Who just got his release of his pension and can drop 115 G's on a bass boat. Whereas like you're targeting the completely wrong demographic right now. If you're trying to kill the sport of bass fishing, keep doing what you're doing.
I agree. And you know, we were talking about this earlier. You know, one of the reasons I was running behind was because I was speaking to one of my sponsors, and he said it's been the worst month. August was the worst month in 5 years.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot to that. I think, you know, the economy is not great right now. I think it's going to be,
we're in election season.
Next 12 months. We are, but this is everybody across the board.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's going to be a tough next 12 months. So, and you know, I mean, so how do you fix that? I mean, I don't have all the answers, but I think a lot of people know certain ways.
It's also tough, right? Because just like any kind of corporate scenario or corporate setting, you have to go through the chain of command. And if you aren't able to even get exposure to that or even get to that first level, then there's definitely no way you're going to get to the top to be able to try to get your points across. So for me, I'm trying to do my way of infiltrating slowly but surely because I want to see the sport grow. I want to see people stoked on fishing. I want to see bass grow to this this incredible, like, you know, company where they're able to pay their anglers really well. They're able to satisfy their sponsors, and they're able to, you know, go to venues and whatnot that people are more intrigued to watch versus, you know, a full 3 events or something where everyone's just down. So like I get it, you know. So it's a lot.
But you know, it's
a lot.
We went way off track.
Yeah, we didn't chase this.
But no, I want to bring us back on here in a second. But you know, it's it's a lot of politics goes into it because the counties put up the money, or the state puts up the money to bring the anglers there. And people don't think about this. Your job also, and this was something I saw earlier, and I don't even remember the angler shooting it. I was sitting there flipping through TikTok, and he's talking about exactly what we're talking about. My job is to fish first, promote second, video content third, podcast fourth. I mean, this is not, just like you just said, this is not like any other sport out there. I mean, golf, you got to pay your own way. Tennis, you pay your own way. I mean, I used to play tennis. It's $50 a tournament. I mean, I had to pay it out of my pocket. It ain't $5,000. You win $300 or $400. I did it when I was like high school and middle age. So I mean, but this is like you just said, the only sport out there. Bowling I think's the same way, where you actually have to wear 5 hats.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And that's
the
even
limit is
to be able to live decently. And and you tell, I brought it up to someone the other day, and I've seen different people's houses, and I don't want to bring that up, and different people's living, and they're doing something right. Got some big old houses, some big old garages, but either they doing it right or they in debt up to their eyeballs.
Yeah, I mean, or they're living in like bum hell middle of nowhere, and
yeah.
Right.
and they're fine
Right.
with eating, like having a Dollar General as their only place to shop. So it's like,
I got one 3 miles from my house.
nothing against the Dollar General if that's the only place you get to shop. But I'm saying,
I got a Walmart this way.
Yeah. So like, I mean, it's tough because like I even personally looked at some properties and I'm like, wow, I would love to live here because of the close proximity to everything.
Right.
But then when it comes to just basic necessities, I also don't want to drive 45 minutes just to get groceries.
No.
And so there's that. But yeah, no, it's tough, man. And especially where I'm from, there's no way that I'd be able to make enough money to like, buy a house in California.
Oh yeah, Lord.
So and especially Hawaii. So it's like, it's one of those things where, look, you gotta, I don't know. You do have to wear numerous hats. You have to be confident on different levels other than fishing. And you have to be ready to take on all those things, because if you try to half-ass anything.
Oh, yeah, people know it.
Yeah,
you get eaten alive. But the good news is, okay, let's turn this back to a positive. I didn't mean to bring us down, boys. I'm sorry.
No,
I
we're
apologize.
good. It's a good conversation.
But
yeah, it's a great conversation.
But the good news is, Matty Wong is good at all this stuff. I mean,
man.
you're not going to make it to that level unless you're not.
Right.
So,
and your past,
sophomore
your past experiences paid off. I mean, you're
exactly.
being out there in California, being a TV photographer, knowing video production, knowing how to talk. I've interviewed
it's almost
some.
Like it's meant to be, Matty.
It really is. I mean, guys, we've interviewed from 15 years old all the way up to 50 years old, and there's a bunch of them out there. You just feel like pulling the information from them. I mean, it's like, did you not learn how to talk or anything, or was it your mama told you not to talk to strangers, or what is it? I'm not really sure. All right, I got one final question because we're gonna wrap this bad boy up. Matty, we really, really appreciate you coming on with us tonight.
We do.
Your biggest takeaway from 2023, man. Just one little blurb. What was your biggest takeaway? And was this something that's going to help you in 2024?
Life's too short to be stressed.
There you go. That's a good one.
Respect people how you'd like to be respected.
Yeah.
Fish hard, but don't forget to have fun.
That's awesome.
And I mean, that's all you can really do. And also, if it doesn't work out the way that you intended, then there's another plan.
Amen.
So, I think that's as simple as I can put it. That would be my best takeaway. And putting in the work. It's funny because I got back here and my buddy's like, I got to spend some time with like a really close friend of mine. We actually went out fishing and caught all those fish. And he's like, dude, I remember like the last time you were home was December. And, it's what, September now?
Yeah.
I haven't.
Yeah, it's something like that.
So it's
September the 6th.
What is it, 9 months?
Yeah.
So to be away from my friends, being away from my family, like for 9 months, going and while having 2 weeks or 3 weeks off, instead of going back home to Hawaii or back to California, going to the new lake that I haven't been to, spending the money for an Airbnb and for the gas and all that and the tackle and whatever to go and figure out that new lake.
Mm-hmm.
Even though at times I felt like it didn't pay off, I think in hindsight it made sure my tool was sharp and it gave me more knowledge and more experience. So I intend to do the same thing this year. but I also intend to make sure that I keep it light. And when I mean keeping it light, I mean emotionally light.
Right.
Because I don't want to shorten my life by this
Yeah.
experience. And I think,
Amen.
yeah, you can easily do that if you
Yes.
really let it get to you.
Geek,
Take
you
those
gotta-
honey bun minutes, man.
Honey bun, dude.
man.
Honey bun moment, bro.
Yeah, I got one question.
Yeah.
How much surfing you been doing since you've been back? I see all those boards behind you.
Oh man, I am so sunburnt right now. I wish I could. It'd be a
Oh my
little
gosh.
inappropriate to show you the back of my legs right now, but I'm the back of my legs are probably 105 degrees right now, just because of the kind of like sunburn that I got. Yeah, but so I got in a really nice long surf yesterday. We finally got a swell in town. Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to surf today because of one work I got to get done. But my legs are really sore. But
Dang.
I'm stoked to be able to jump back in the ocean and connect with a hobby that brings me a lot of peace and happiness.
Unwind, unplug, get ready, brother. I feel like you got big things coming to you next year.
Oh man, thank you, man. I can't wait. I'm looking forward
Matty,
to it.
we appreciate you coming on with us, man. Thank you as always for being a part of the basscast.com. Really do love you. Ever since we did our first podcast with you, man, you're awesome as crap. Your attitude is awesome. You should have your own show, the Matty Wong show. We thought it was going to be the John Sokup show, but we might name it the Matty Wong show here pretty soon. But man, we really appreciate you as always coming on. Guys, follow Matty on social media as well. Instagram's where you publish the most, isn't it?
Yeah, Instagram, Matty_Wong. And then if you guys want to check out all my I try to do a weekly release on my YouTube, which is Matty Wong Fishing. And and then also for the folks that do the Facebook, it's same thing, Matty Wong Fishing. And go ahead and give that a like and a follow.
As my daughter says, everybody over 40 that still does Facebook.
Yeah. But I mean, hey, if that's your channel, then that's your channel. And
I need to get you on Threads, man.
I'm on Threads. I'm just not active on Threads because I try to get away from Twitter when that was a thing. And so Threads kind of just reminds me of a different flavor of that.
I understand.
Yeah, I try to be up on the Facebook, the Instagram, and then always trying to produce good content on the YouTube.
Cool. You TikToking it yet?
I am. I'm TikToking it.
Good.
I got like 15K on TikTok. So
I have to hit you.
Just growing slowly. I'm not no Bass Geek level, but
I'm no Bass Geek on TikTok.
No,
I'm just
actually,
it was I think I've got 15 on TikTok.
15,000.
Yeah.
Mine kicked into gear and went to like 8,000 real quick, and then just slowly.
I only post like twice a week on there.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad on TikTok, and it's funny because you'll trigger the algorithm, and then it will go off, and then you'll do similar things where you think it will go, and then it doesn't do anything.
Nope.
Yeah, it's a funny game, but yeah, no, that's basically all the different channels, and if you guys also want to look into my personal merch that would support me directly, it's lateralvisionbrand.com. And if you go and type in the search brand Matty Wong times LV, then that pops up my whole capsule, which then Lateral gives me 100% of the profit. They cover their costs, and then the rest of it goes to benefit me on tour. So if you want to help support me directly, if you pick up some merch from that, that would be.
I was actually gonna go check it out right now.
Yeah, so go ahead and do that. That'd be huge.
All right, guys, we're gonna be right back.
Thank you, guys. Aloha.
All right, man. We really appreciate Matty coming on and talking with us tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed it. That was a great conversation. We, like I said, we hit on the season, then we kind of went different direction with the whole thing. Geek let us off, and
we were all over.
We're all over, but I mean, it was a great conversation regarding the aspect of bass fishing as a whole, and more into the business of bass fishing.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was a great conversation. We hope you enjoyed this show. Got a lot more great episodes coming up over the next few weeks. We're going to be talking to, hopefully we'll get I know, I think Bass Geek said he secured the Angler of the Year, and I've secured the ROI of the year. And we still have, our winner from our past event.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know why I can't think of his freaking name right now because I'm talking about other stuff. But yes, so, got a lot going on. But appreciate you guys listening. Appreciate you tuning in. As always, please don't forget to hit the follow button. If you like watching on YouTube, hit the follow button there as well. We do spend a little bit of time working on this thing, putting it together, editing. It takes, I ain't gonna lie, I'm not spending like days. But I probably spent about 2 to 3 hours on this podcast putting it together before our guest actually comes on and editing after it goes off. So, and we give it to you for free. All we ask for you to do is hit the like button. There's another podcast I listen to all the time. He said the podcast is not for free. You have to do something for us too. We're giving you some information. We bring on great guests like Matty, dropping some great tips, information, some great talk. And, some things we hope will help you. All we're asking for our time is for you to hit the like button. So if you can do that, that would be awesome. Appreciate you guys. Hope you have a great night. We'll be back next week, everybody.